They had already agreed on the chairs. Not the color, just the fact that there would be two of them, low-backed, simple, something that wouldn't argue with whatever apartment came next. The link lives in a shared note on a phone neither of them checks anymore. It was the kind of decision that only happens when you think the larger ones are settled. The invoice is still on the counter when he notices the pause. The kind of pause that doesn't announce itself. The dishwasher hums. The window is cracked open to let out the heat from dinner. Outside, a siren moves away instead of toward them. Everything feels properly placed. "Can we take a walk?" she asks, already reaching for her jacket. They walk without destination, the way people do when they're stalling. She talks about timing first. About how quickly things have stacked, school into work, work into plans, plans into deposits. He listens the way he always has, assuming the point will arrive eventually and make sense in retrospect. When it does arrive, it doesn't raise its voice. She doesn't accuse him of anything. She doesn't mention another name. She frames it as diligence. Responsibility. The need to be sure. She uses words that sound careful enough to be reasonable. She says she doesn't want to wake up years from now wondering. He stops walking before she finishes the sentence. Not because he's shocked, but because the sidewalk slopes and he wants to feel steady when he answers. "So you want me to wait," he says. She nods, relieved that he understands. As if comprehension were consent. The relief does something strange to him. It quiets the room inside his head. The part that usually argues for patience goes still. He notices details instead, the crack in the pavement shaped like a river, the way her hand hovers before deciding whether to take his. They walk back in silence. Inside, the magnet holds the invoice in place. She kisses his cheek and says they'll talk more in the morning. He doesn't sleep. By the time the sun cuts a line across the floor, the conversation has already ended, even if no one has said so out loud. He moves through the apartment without urgency, touching things only to confirm what belongs where. He leaves the objects that carry shared memory. He takes the ones that don't argue. The calls start later. He doesn't answer them. Silence, he learns quickly, isn't empty. It's active. It asks something of you. What follows isn't about a breakup. It isn't about revenge or lessons or winning. It's about what happens when certainty arrives from the wrong direction, and what it takes to recognize it when it finally shows up where it belongs. The apartment holds the morning the way it always does, coffee first, then the sound of the shower through the wall, then Lena's voice asking if he's seen her earrings. Evan finds them on the bookshelf, tangled with a charging cable. She kisses his temple and leaves before he finishes his toast. The routine has weight to it. Not burden, just presence. They've built it carefully over 3 years, adjusting and readjusting until the friction's smoothed out. Evan knows which days she works late. Lena knows he needs the kitchen quiet in the mornings. They split groceries by aisle. They've stopped discussing who takes out the trash, it simply happens. The wedding binder sits on the shelf above the television. It's thick now, divided by colored tabs. Venue. Catering. Florals. Guest list. Lena updates it on Sundays, cross-referencing spreadsheets on her laptop while Evan preps lunches for the week. Sometimes she reads entries aloud, not for approval, just to confirm she hasn't missed anything. He listens while chopping vegetables, offering sounds that mean he's tracking. They've already put down deposits on 3 different things. The venue required a signature from both of them. Evan remembers the weight of the pen, the ceremonial feeling of watching Lena sign first. The coordinator smiled and said they seemed very prepared. Lena squeezed his hand afterward in the parking lot. At work, Evan keeps the date in his email signature. June 14th, colleagues congratulate him in passing. He thanks them and doesn't elaborate. The details feel private in a way he can't explain, even the straightforward ones. On Tuesday, Lena's mother calls during dinner. Evan answers because Lena is rinsing dishes. Her mother asks about the photographer, whether they've confirmed the timeline, whether the backup clause is clear. Evan doesn't know. He says they'll double-check and get back to her. When he hangs up, Lena is already drying her hands. She asked about the photographer, he says. Lena nods. I'll email them. She doesn't, though. Evan notices on Thursday when the same question comes up again. this time from Lena's sister in a group text. Lena responds with a thumbs-up emoji and sets her phone face down. Do you want me to handle it? Evan asks. I've got it, she says, scrolling through something on her laptop. He doesn't push. There's a difference between forgetting and delaying, and he assumes she knows which one this is. Friday, they meet his sister for drinks. Claire asks how the planning is going, and Lena answers with the kind of enthusiasm that sounds slightly practiced. She talks about the venue, the flowers, the playlist. She doesn't mention the photographer. Claire listens and nods and orders another round. Later, in the car, Lena rests her head against the window. Your sister seems excited, she says. She is. That's good. Evan glances at her. Her eyes are closed, but she isn't asleep. He turns the radio down and drives the rest of the way in near silence. That night, he finds her sitting on the edge of the bed, phone in hand, staring at a screen that isn't moving. He sets his water glass on the nightstand and sits beside her. You okay? She blinks, then locks the screen. Yeah, just tired. He doesn't ask what she was looking at. She leans into him briefly, then pulls back and starts setting her alarm. The moment passes. It doesn't feel significant. Saturday, they walk through the farmer's market like they do most weekends. Lena stops at the flower stand and examines bouquets she won't buy. Evan picks up apples and bread, things they actually need. A couple ahead of them is arguing quietly about which vendor has better tomatoes. The woman's voice is tight. The man isn't looking at her. Lena watches them for a moment, then moves to the next stall. At home, she unpacks the groceries in silence. Evan asks if she wants to go see the movie they've been talking about. She says maybe tomorrow. He doesn't press. Sunday arrives with rain. They stay in. Lena updates the binder, but her laptop stays closed. Evan folds laundry and listens to a podcast through headphones. They order takeout and eat on the couch, plates balanced on their knees. The television plays something neither of them follows. Later, after the dishes are done and the leftover containers are stacked in the fridge, Lena stands at the counter examining the lighthouse magnet. It holds 3 things: the caterer's receipt, a business card for the venue coordinator, and a printed checklist with half the items crossed off. She doesn't touch any of them. She just stands there, one hand resting on the counter, the other loose at her side. Evan watches from the doorway. He doesn't ask what she's thinking. The apartment hums, the refrigerator cycling, the radiator ticking, the upstairs neighbor walking across their floor. Everything is exactly where it should be. Monday passes without incident. Lena texts him at lunch to say she'll be home by 7. She arrives at 6:40, sets her bag by the door, and asks if he wants Thai or Italian. They settle on Thai. She orders while he clears the counter. The food arrives. They eat at the table, not the couch. Lena uses her fork more than her chopsticks. Evan notices but doesn't comment. She asks about his day. He tells her about a meeting that ran long, a project timeline that shifted. She nods at appropriate intervals. When the containers are empty, she stands and starts collecting plates. Evan reaches for his glass, but she's already taken it. Leave it, she says. I'll get it. He sits back down. She runs water in the sink, rinses everything, loads the dishwasher with more attention than the task requires. When she closes it, she doesn't start the cycle. She turns around and leans against the counter, arms crossed loosely. Can we go for a walk? The question arrives without preamble. Evan glances at the window. It's dark out, but not late. He stands. Sure. She's already putting on her jacket. Outside, the air carries the particular chill of early spring evenings when the sun sets too fast. They walk toward the park, not because it's close, but because the route is automatic. Lena keeps her hands in her pockets. Evan matches her pace. She doesn't speak for the first block. At the intersection, she stops at the crosswalk even though no cars are coming. They wait for the light to change. I've been thinking about us, she says when they reach the other side. Evan stays quiet. He's learned that responding too early can derail her. About timing, she continues. About how we got here. They pass a bodega with fruit stacked in crates outside. A man is pulling a metal grate halfway down over the entrance. The sound scrapes against the pavement. We've been together since what, junior year? She's not really asking. And then graduation, and then the apartment, and now this. She gestures vaguely, as if this is something visible in the air between them. It's been fast, she says. Not bad. Just fast. Evan's chest tightens, but his voice stays level. Okay. I keep thinking about Sarah, Lena says. Sarah is her college roommate, someone Evan has met twice. She's been traveling. Just got back from Portugal. She's seeing someone new every few months. She seems, I don't know, open to things. They turn into the park. The paths are lit by lamps spaced too far apart. Shadows pool between them. I don't regret us, Lena says quickly. That's not what I'm saying. Evan waits. But I wonder if we've moved through everything without pausing, without knowing what else is out there. The phrase lands cleanly. What else is out there? Evan hears it and files it and keeps walking. I think I need to know, she says. Her voice is steady, almost practiced. Before we make it permanent. I need to be sure. Sure of what? Evan asks. That this is right. That I'm choosing it, not just continuing it. A jogger passes them, breathing hard. The sound fades quickly. So you want to break up, Evan says. No. She stops walking. He stops too. Not break up. Just pause. Space. Temporarily. The word temporarily hangs there, asking to be believed. I'm not asking to see other people, she says, though her phrasing suggests otherwise. I'm asking for room to figure out what I want without the pressure of a countdown. Evan looks at her. Her face is serious, her shoulders set. She's thought about this. The realization arrives with a coldness he doesn't expect. You want me to wait, he says. If we're right, she says, we'll know. And we'll be stronger for it. The logic is clean. The delivery is calm. It's reasonable in the way that makes arguing feel petty. And if we're not? Evan asks. Then we save ourselves a bigger mistake. The word mistake doesn't echo. It just sits. Lena reaches for his hand. He lets her take it, feels her fingers curl around his. Her grip is warm. Familiar. I'm not trying to hurt you, she says. He doesn't answer. They stand under a lamp that flickers once, then holds. Can we just think about it? She asks. Talk more tomorrow? Evan nods. Not because he agrees, but because the conversation has reached a shape that requires closing. They walk back in silence. The park empties behind them. At the apartment, she unlocks the door and steps inside first. The dishwasher hums, still waiting to be started. She hangs her jacket and turns to him. Thank you for listening, she says. She kisses his cheek. It feels automatic. She walks to the bedroom and closes the door most of the way, leaving a crack of light. Evan stands in the kitchen. The lighthouse magnet holds the same papers it held yesterday. The binder sits on the shelf. The apartment is exactly as they left it. He picks up his phone, puts it down, picks it up again. The screen stays dark. He doesn't sleep. Not in the dramatic way, where you toss and turn and check the clock. He simply lies still, eyes open, listening to Lena breathe on her side of the bed. Her rhythm is even. She fell asleep within minutes. The ceiling holds no answers. Evan stops looking for them around 3. By the time light starts breaking the dark into gray, he's already sorting. Not objects, thoughts. He lines them up like inventory. The walk. The words. The hand on his. The kiss that felt like punctuation. Temporarily. Space. If we're right. The conditional sits at the center of everything. She wants to know. She needs to be sure. She's asking for time to decide whether he's enough. The asymmetry of it arrives slowly, then all at once. She gets to explore. He gets to wait. She gets to weigh options. He gets to be one of them. Evan sits up. Lena doesn't stir. He moves to the kitchen, fills a glass with water, drinks half. The window over the sink shows the street below, empty except for a delivery truck idling at the corner. He sets the glass down. His phone is on the counter. He picks it up, opens his email, scrolls without reading. He closes it. Opens his messages. Closes those too. The binder is on the shelf. He walks over, pulls it down, flips it open. The first tab is venue. There's a contract, signed by both of them, dated 2 months ago. The deposit was $1,500. Non-refundable after 30 days. They're past 30 days. He closes the binder. Puts it back. At 6:30, Lena's alarm goes off. He hears her move, the sound of her feet hitting the floor. She appears in the doorway, hair pulled back, eyes still adjusting. "You're up early," she says. "Couldn't sleep." She nods, cautious. "Do you want to talk?" "Not yet." The answer satisfies her. She moves past him to start coffee. He watches her go through the motions, grind the beans, fill the reservoir, press the button. She does it the same way every morning. "I'm working from home today," she says. "If you want to later, I mean. I have meetings." "Okay." She pours herself a cup before the pot finishes brewing, catching the drip with her mug. The motion is practiced. She's done it 1,000 times. Evan showers. Dresses. When he comes back out, she's at the table with her laptop open. She glances up. "Have a good day," she says. "You too." At work, he sits through a conference call without contributing. His boss asks if he has thoughts on the timeline. Evan says it looks fine. After the call, he opens a browser tab and types venue cancellation policy. He closes the tab without hitting enter. Lunch is a sandwich he doesn't taste. His coworker asks if he's excited about the wedding. Evan says yes. The coworker talks about his own wedding, 8 years ago, how stressful the planning was but worth it. Evan nods at intervals. In the afternoon, he drafts an email he doesn't send. Then another. He deletes both. At 5, he closes his laptop and stares at it for 30 seconds before putting it in his bag. The subway home is crowded. He stands near the door, hand on the pole, watching stations pass. At his stop, he waits for everyone else to exit first. Lena is still at the table when he gets home. She's on a video call, camera on, smiling at someone on the screen. She waves at him. He waves back and goes to the bedroom. He sits on the edge of the bed. His phone is in his hand. He opens his contacts, scrolls to his sister's name, hovers. Puts the phone face down on the nightstand. The call in the other room ends. He hears Lena close her laptop, stand, stretch. She appears in the doorway. "How was your day?" she asks. "Fine. Do you want to order something?" "I'm not really in the mood to cook." "Sure." They order from the same place they always do. She gets her usual. He gets his. The food arrives. They eat in the living room with the television on. A cooking show neither of them watches. Lena scrolls through her phone between bites. Evan finishes first and takes his plate to the sink. "Are you mad?" she asks from the couch. He turns. She's looking at him, phone now in her lap. "No," he says. "You seem quiet." "I'm thinking." She nods. "That's good. That's what I wanted. Time to think." He doesn't correct her. He rinses his plate and sets it in the dish rack. That night, they go to bed at different times. Lena first, then Evan an hour later. She's already asleep when he slides under the covers. He lies on his back, hands folded on his chest. The room is dark except for the glow of the streetlight through the curtain. Evan watches the shadows on the ceiling shift as a car passes. He's not angry yet. That will come later, in forms he won't recognize immediately. What he feels now is something cleaner. Simpler. Clarity. He doesn't move. He doesn't reach for his phone. He doesn't wake her to argue or explain or ask her to reconsider. He simply lies there, entirely still, while the shape of what happens next arranges itself in the silence. By morning, the decision is already made. He just hasn't said it out loud yet. Evan wakes before the alarm. Lena is still asleep, one arm draped over the edge of the bed. He slides out without disturbing the mattress. In the kitchen, he makes coffee but doesn't drink it. He opens his laptop at the table and pulls up his email. The venue coordinator's address is already in his contacts. He types quickly. Subject, cancellation, booking number 4782. I need to cancel our June 14th reservation. Please confirm receipt and advise on any outstanding balance or documentation required. Evan Marsh. He sends it. Opens a new tab. Searches for the bank's website. Logs into the joint savings account. The balance is $8,400. He opens his personal checking in another window and initiates a transfer. Half. $4,200. The system asks him to confirm. He does. The confirmation email arrives within seconds. He closes the laptop. Checks the time. 6:45. Lena's alarm will go off in 15 minutes. He moves to the bedroom quietly, opens the closet. His clothes take up the left side. He pulls out a duffel bag from the top shelf, sets it on the floor. Starts with basics: shirts, jeans, underwear, socks. He doesn't deliberate. If he reaches for it and it's his, it goes in the bag. The bathroom is next. Toothbrush. Deodorant. The razor he bought himself, not the one she gave him for his birthday. He leaves the cologne. It was a gift. In the kitchen, he photographs the lease agreement with his phone. Then the utility bills. The renter's insurance policy. He takes nothing that requires explanation. The documents stay in the drawer. The binder is still on the shelf. He doesn't touch it. His keys are on the counter. He works the apartment key off the ring. It catches on the metal loop. He forces it free. Sets it on the counter beneath the lighthouse magnet, next to the caterer's receipt. His phone buzzes. The venue coordinator has already replied. "We're sorry to hear this. The deposit is non-refundable per the contract, but there are no additional charges. I'll process the cancellation today. Wishing you both the best." Evan deletes the email. He carries the duffel to the door. Goes back for his laptop bag. His jacket. He does a final sweep, visually, not physically. The apartment looks the same. Nothing is disturbed. He hasn't left a note. Lena's alarm goes off. He hears it through the bedroom door, her fumbling to silence it, the creak of the bed frame as she sits up. He opens the front door and closes it behind him. The hallway smells like someone else's breakfast. He takes the stairs instead of the elevator. 4 flights. His shoulder aches from the duffel by the time he reaches the lobby. Outside, the morning is overcast. He walks 3 blocks before stopping. Pulls out his phone. Searches for sublets in his price range. Opens the first listing. A studio in a building he doesn't recognize, available immediately. He fills out the inquiry form. Submits it. His phone rings. Lena. He declines the call. At a coffee shop, he orders something he doesn't want and sits in the back. His phone vibrates. A text from Lena. "Where are you?" He doesn't reply. Another text, 3 minutes later. "Did you leave for work already?" He opens his email. Responds to the sublet listing with his availability to view the space. Closes the app. Opens his bank account. Confirms the transfer completed. Closes that too. The phone rings again. Lena. He declines. A voicemail notification appears. He doesn't listen to it. Deletes it. By noon, he's signed a month-to-month lease on the studio. The landlord hands him the keys in the empty unit, one for the building, one for the apartment. The space is small. Beige walls. A window that faces a brick wall. A kitchenette with 2 burners. The bathroom has a shower but no tub. "You can move in today if you want," the landlord says. "I'm already moved in." The landlord looks at the single duffel bag. Doesn't comment. Evan sets the bag on the floor. The landlord leaves. The door clicks shut. He sits on the floor, back against the wall. The room is quiet. No dishwasher hum. No upstairs neighbors. No familiar sounds. His phone vibrates. He pulls it out. For missed calls. 7 texts. He reads them in order. "Where are you?" "Evan, please answer." "I don't understand what's happening. Did I do something? Can we please talk? I'm worried. Please just tell me you're okay." He types a response. Deletes it. Types another. Deletes that too. He sets the phone face down on the floor beside him. The silence isn't empty. It's deliberate. It's a boundary he's drawn without announcing it. Outside, someone's car alarm goes off. Stops. Starts again. Eventually stops for good. Evan doesn't move. He sits in the empty studio as the afternoon light shifts across the wall, thin and gray, marking time he doesn't need to account for. The phone vibrates again. He doesn't reach for it. By evening, the notifications have slowed. He orders food from an app and eats it standing at the counter. The apartment smells like cleaning solution and someone else's life. He unpacks the duffel methodically. Hangs his shirts in the closet. Puts his toiletries in the bathroom. Everything fits. Nothing is left over. At 9, he gets a text from a number he doesn't recognize. Then he realizes it's Lena's sister. Lena is really upset. What's going on? He doesn't respond. At 10, a call from his own sister. Claire. He declines it. She texts immediately. Lena's family is calling me. What happened? He turns his phone off. Plugs it in. Leaves it on the counter. The bed is a mattress on a frame, nothing else. He lies down on it fully clothed. The ceiling is unmarked. No cracks. No water stains. Just flat white paint. He closes his eyes. The quiet holds. The studio becomes routine faster than it should. Evan wakes at 6:30. Makes coffee in a machine he bought at a discount store on day 2. Drinks it black because he forgot to buy milk and then decided he didn't need it. Showers. Dresses. Leaves by 7:15. Work absorbs the middle of the day. Meetings. Emails. A project he volunteered for that requires focus he doesn't have to manufacture. His boss comments that he seems engaged. Evan nods and opens the next file. Lunch is whatever is closest. A deli. A food truck. Sometimes nothing. He discovers he can skip it entirely without consequence. At night, he comes home to the studio and the quiet. He eats standing at the counter. He reads articles on his phone without retaining them. He goes to bed early and sleeps in blocks, 3 hours, then awake, then 2 more. His phone stays on. He checks it twice a day. Morning. Evening. The messages accumulate. Lena, day 3, I don't know what I did, but please talk to me. Lena, day 5, I went to your office. They said you're working remotely. Where are you staying? Lena, day 7, this isn't fair. Claire, day 4, I don't know what happened, but I'm here if you need to talk. Claire, day 6, seriously, call me. Lena's sister, day 8, she's a mess. Whatever happened, at least let her know you're alive. A mutual friend, day 9, hey man, heard things are rough. Let me know if you want to grab a drink. He doesn't respond to any of them. The silence requires maintenance, a conscious decision repeated daily not to break it. On day 10, someone knocks on his door. He's eating reheated noodles from a carton. The knock comes again, louder. He sets the carton down. Waits. Evan? Claire's voice. I know you're in there. Your car is outside. He doesn't move. I'm not leaving until you open the door. He stands. Walks to the door. Opens it partway. Claire looks tired. Her jacket is wet from rain he didn't know was falling. She studies his face. You look like shit, she says. I'm fine. You're not answering anyone's calls. I know. She waits for more. When it doesn't come, she shifts her weight. Can I come in? He steps aside. She enters, looks around. The studio reveals itself in a glance, minimal, temporary, functional. How did you find me? He asks. I went to your office. Asked around. Someone mentioned seeing you at a coffee shop on 7th. I drove around until I spotted your car. She turns to face him. What happened? We broke up. I gathered that. Lena's been calling everyone. She doesn't understand why you left. Evan doesn't respond. Did she cheat? Claire asks. No. Then what? He picks up the noodle carton. Tosses it in the trash. She asked me to wait while she figured out if I was enough. Claire processes this. And you just left? Yes. Without talking to her? There wasn't anything to talk about. Claire sits on the edge of his mattress. Evan, you disappeared. You canceled the wedding. You moved out without telling anyone. People are worried. I'm fine. You're clearly not. I'm handling it. She looks at him for a long moment. This isn't like you. Maybe it is. The conversation stalls. Claire stands, walks to the window, looks out at the brick wall. She says she made a mistake. That she wants to fix it. Evan doesn't respond. Are you going to talk to her at all? Eventually. When? When I'm ready. Claire turns. You can't just ghost someone you were about to marry. I can. That's cruel. So is asking someone to wait while you shop around. The words come out flat. Factual. Claire's expression shifts, not agreement, but recognition. Fair enough, she says quietly. She stays another 10 minutes. Asks if he needs anything. He says no. She writes her address on a scrap of paper and leaves it on the counter. If you need a place that isn't this, she says, gesturing at the studio, you can stay with me. I'm good here. She nods. At the door, she pauses. For what it's worth, I think you're allowed to be angry. I'm not angry. Then what are you? He doesn't answer. She leaves. The next morning, he gets a text from Lena. Claire told me you're okay. I don't understand why you won't talk to me. I said I was wrong. I said I want to fix this. Please. He reads it. Sets the phone down. At work, his coworker asks if he's recovered from his family emergency. Evan says yes. The coworker doesn't ask for details. On day 14, he buys a plant. A succulent in a ceramic pot, marked down because one leaf is bent. He sets it on the windowsill. Waters it according to the tag's instructions. The message is slow. Lena, every other day now. Claire, once. The mutual friend stops trying. The studio settles around him. The quiet becomes normal. Not comfortable, normal. He doesn't feel vindicated. He doesn't feel righteous. He feels precise. Like a calculation that resolved correctly but left no remainder. At night, lying on the mattress, he stares at the ceiling. The unmarked white expanse. He doesn't think about Lena. He thinks about the shape of the next day, and the one after that, each one identical and sufficient. The phone stays on the counter, screen dark. Outside, the city continues. Traffic. Sirens. Voices passing under his window. None of it requires his participation. The quiet holds. The plant pushes out a new leaf on day 19. Evan notices it while making coffee, a small green point emerging from the center. He didn't expect it. The tag said succulents were slow growers. He waters it. Not because it needs it, the soil is still damp, but because the action feels proportional to the discovery. Work shifts. The project he volunteered for expands. His boss asks if he can take on a second phase. Evan says yes before considering his capacity. At his desk, he opens files and commits to timelines that will require evenings. The hours fill themselves. He starts running. Not for fitness, for structure. Every morning at 6, before coffee, before anything. He follows the river path, the same route, 3 miles out and 3 miles back. His calves burn for the first week. By the second, the burn becomes baseline. The running establishes other things. He showers at 6:40. Coffee at 7. Out the door by 7:15. The routine has edges now, clean and non-negotiable. At the coffee shop on 7th, the barista starts making his order when she sees him walk in. Black coffee, no room. He doesn't remember telling her. She just noticed. Consistent, she says, handing him the cup. He nods. Leaves $1 in the tip jar. On day 22, his phone rings. A number he doesn't recognize. He answers out of reflex. Evan? A man's voice. Familiar but not immediate. Yes. It's David. From the venue. The coordinator. Evan sets his coffee down. I wanted to follow up, David continues. Just to make sure everything was processed correctly on our end. And to say, well, I'm sorry it didn't work out. It's fine. If there's anything we can do. There isn't. But thank you. He ends the call. Deletes the number from his recent list. That night he cooks. Actually cooks, not reheating, not ordering. He buys chicken and vegetables and follows a recipe on his phone. The result is edible. Not impressive, but sufficient. He eats it at the counter, standing, and decides he'll do it again. The studio stops feeling temporary. He buys a lamp. Hangs a hook by the door for his jacket. Replaces the bent blinds with ones that actually block light. Small adjustments that signal intention rather than waiting. On day 27, Lena's messages change tone. I went on a date. I know you don't care, but I wanted you to know. It clarified some things for me. He reads it twice. Feels nothing sharp. Just a dull recognition that she's doing exactly what she said she would. 2 days later, another message. It wasn't what I thought it would be. Going out, I mean. It felt wrong. I kept thinking about us. He doesn't respond. Day 30 brings a longer message. I know I hurt you. I know I asked for something unfair. But I understand now. I understand what I already had. Can we please talk? Just talk. I think we can fix this. He reads it standing by the window. The brick wall outside is the same as always. Unchanging. He sets the phone down and goes for a run even though he already ran that morning. At work, his boss pulls him into a meeting. The project is exceeding expectations. They want to extend his role, shift him to a leadership position on the next phase. More responsibility. More hours. A salary adjustment. Evan accepts without negotiating. That weekend, Claire texts. How are you doing? Fine, he replies. Want to come over for dinner Sunday? He considers. Agrees. Sunday, he shows up at her apartment with wine he researched online. Claire opens the door and studies him. You look better, she says. Thanks. Over dinner, pasta she made from scratch, she asks careful questions. How's work? How's the studio? Is he sleeping? He answers honestly. Work is good. The studio is fine. He sleeps enough. Are you happy? She asks. He pauses. I'm not unhappy. That's not the same thing. No. But it's not worse. She lets it sit. Later, while clearing plates, she asks if he's talked to Lena. No. She's still trying. I know. Are you going to respond eventually? Probably. When? When it doesn't matter what she says. Claire sets a plate in the sink. Turns to look at him. That's cold. Maybe. She doesn't push further. They watch a movie on her couch. He leaves at 10, drives back to the studio, parks in his usual spot. Inside, the plant has another new leaf forming. He waters it. Makes tea even though he rarely drinks tea. Sits on the floor with his back against the wall. The quiet isn't empty anymore. It's full of things he's chosen. The running. The cooking. The work. The space between messages he doesn't answer. He doesn't feel healed. Healing implies injury, and he's not sure that's the right frame. He feels aligned. Like a table leg that was slightly off and has been adjusted. The surface is level now. His phone is on the counter. He doesn't check it. Outside, someone's dog barks. A car door slams. Life moves around him, parallel and separate. He finishes the tea. Rinses the cup. Goes to bed. The ceiling is unmarked and familiar. He's learned its topography, the slight texture near the corner, the way the light from the street lamp hits it at an angle. He closes his eyes. Sleep comes easier now. Not because anything has resolved, but because he's stopped waiting for resolution. The quiet holds. Day 34. Lena calls at 7 a.m. Evan is lacing his running shoes. The phone vibrates on the counter. He watches it until it stops. Goes for his run. When he returns, there's a voicemail. He deletes it without listening. At work, an email arrives. Not to his work address, his personal one. The subject line is blank. He opens it. I know you're getting my messages. I know you're choosing not to respond. That's your right. But I need you to understand that I made a mistake. Not about needing space, about thinking space was what I needed. I was wrong. I was scared of making a permanent decision without knowing if I was settling. But I wasn't settling. I was just scared. Can we please talk? Not to get back together. Just to talk. You deserve that. I deserve that. Lena. He archives the email. Opens a spreadsheet. Works through lunch. Day 37. A package arrives at his door. He doesn't remember ordering anything. The return address is hers, their old apartment. Inside, a book he left behind. A biography he'd been halfway through. A bookmark still stuck between pages. No note. He sets it on the counter. Doesn't open it. Day 40. Claire texts. Lena called me again. Okay. She wants to know if you'll meet with her. No. She's pretty persistent. I noticed. Are you ever going to talk to her? When I'm ready. She says she'll wait. He doesn't respond to that. Day 43. Another email. I saw Sarah yesterday. The one I mentioned. She asked about us. I told her we broke up. She said she was sorry. Then she told me about her last 3 months. The traveling. The dates. She said it was exciting at first, and then it was exhausting, and now she's not sure what she wants either. I told her I already knew what I wanted. I just didn't know I knew. That sounds stupid. But it's true. Please, Evan. Just one conversation. He archives it. The project at work enters its final phase. His boss asks him to present to senior leadership. Evan prepares slides, rehearses transitions, delivers the presentation on day 46. It goes well. Afterward, his boss mentions a promotion track. Evan thanks him, files the information. Day 48. Lena's sister texts. I know this is awkward, but Lena asked me to reach out. She doesn't need to do that. She thinks you hate her. I don't. Then why won't you talk to her? I'm not ready. When will you be ready? I don't know. The conversation ends. Day 51. A handwritten letter arrives. The envelope is cream-colored, his name written in her handwriting. He recognizes it before checking the return address. He holds it for a moment, sets it on the counter next to the book. Doesn't open it. It stays there for 3 days. On day 54, while making coffee, he picks it up, turns it over. The seal is still intact. He puts it back down. Day 57. A Friday. His phone rings at 9 p.m. Lena. He declines. She calls again. He declines. A text arrives. I'm outside. He walks to the window, looks down at the street. Her car is parked across from his building. She's standing next to it, phone in hand, looking up. Their eyes meet through the window. She raises her hand. A small wave. He steps back from the glass. His phone rings. He answers. Please, she says. Her voice is strained. Please just come down for 5 minutes. No. Why not? Because I don't want to. That's not fair. Okay. Silence on the line. He can hear traffic through the phone, the same traffic he hears through his window. I'm not leaving until you talk to me, she says. Then you're going to be there a while. He hangs up, closes the blinds, sits on the floor with his back to the wall. 20 minutes pass. He checks the window. Her car is still there. She's sitting inside now, phone glowing through the windshield. He goes to bed. In the morning, the car is gone. Day 60. The letter is still on the counter, unopened. He picks it up while eating breakfast. Holds it. Sets it down. That afternoon, Claire calls. Lena showed up at my place, she says. When? An hour ago. She wanted to know if you'd said anything about her. If you were seeing anyone. If you'd given any indication of what you're thinking. What did you tell her? That you don't talk about it. Which is true. Evan doesn't respond. She's really struggling, Claire says. I know. Does that matter to you? He considers the question. Not enough. Claire is quiet. Then, she asked if I'd set up a meeting. Somewhere neutral. She said she'd be willing to meet anywhere, anytime, as long as you're there. No. I told her I'd ask. You asked. And your answer is no. Yes. Another pause. For what it's worth, I think closure would be good for both of you. Maybe. Will you at least think about it? Sure. He doesn't think about it. Day 64. A mutual friend, someone he hasn't heard from since the messages stopped, texts. Hey man. Ran into Lena at Mason's birthday thing. She asked about you. Thought you should know. Thanks. She seems pretty torn up. Okay. You planning to talk to her at all? Eventually. She said you won't respond to anything. I'm aware. The friend doesn't reply. Day 67. Another email. I opened the binder yesterday. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm finally accepting that it's over. Maybe because I needed to see it. The deposit receipt was still there. Under the lighthouse magnet. I remember you putting it there. I called the venue. They said you canceled in April. 2 days after our walk. I did the math. You made that decision immediately. While I was still thinking we were going to talk more in the morning. I don't blame you. I'm telling you I understand now. You knew what I was asking before I finished asking it. I was asking you to be an option. You decided not to be one. I get it now. I'm sorry it took this long. If you won't meet with me, fine. But please just tell me you got this. Just so I know you're reading these and not I don't know. Just tell me you're reading them. He reads it twice. Closes the email. Opens his banking app. Checks his account balance. Closes it. He doesn't respond. Day 70. His phone rings during his morning run. He ignores it. When he gets back, there's a voicemail. He deletes it automatically. A text arrives an hour later. I'm going to be at Harlan Gallery tomorrow night. 7 p.m. The opening for Maya Chen's show. I know you liked her work. I'm not asking you to come. I'm just telling you I'll be there. In case you want to talk. Or not talk. Or just be in the same room. If you don't show up, I'll know. And I'll stop. He sets the phone down. Looks at the plant. It has 3 new leaves now. Thriving despite the minimal light, the irregular watering, the brick wall view. He picks up the letter. Still sealed. Turns it over in his hands. Outside, a siren passes. Someone shouts something he can't make out. The city continues. He sets the letter down. Walks to the closet. Looks at his clothes. Considers. The gallery opening is tomorrow. Harlan Gallery. 7 p.m. He knows the place. Went there once with Lena to see a photography exhibit. She bought a print. It's probably still hanging in the apartment. Their apartment. Her apartment. He closes the closet. The phone sits on the counter, silent now. Tomorrow is day 71. Day 71. Evan showers at 5:30 instead of 6:40. Stands in front of his closet longer than necessary. Chooses a shirt he hasn't worn since the move. Dark blue. No wrinkles. He doesn't decide to go. He just goes. Traffic is manageable. He parks 2 blocks from the gallery and walks. The evening is cool, clear. People pass him on the sidewalk, couples, groups, individuals walking dogs. He moves through them without noticing faces. The gallery is lit from inside, warm light spilling onto the street. Through the windows, he can see people holding wine glasses, examining walls. He checks his phone. 6:58. He waits until 7:03 to go in. The space is crowded but not uncomfortably so. White walls. Concrete floors. Maya Chen's work, large-scale abstracts in muted colors, hangs in careful intervals. A server offers him wine. He takes it. Doesn't drink. He scans the room methodically. Sees her near the back, standing in front of a canvas that's mostly gray with a thin line of ochre cutting diagonally across it. She's alone. Wearing a dress he doesn't recognize, black, simple, sleeveless. Her hair is shorter than he remembers. She hasn't seen him yet. He considers leaving. Staying. Approaching. He does nothing for 30 seconds. Then he moves toward her, not quickly, just steadily. She turns when he's 6 feet away. Her face does something complicated: relief, fear, hope, all at once. She steadies herself. Hi, she says. Hi. They stand with the painting between them and the rest of the room behind. A woman laughs somewhere to their left. Someone's phone buzzes. You came, Lena says. I did. I wasn't sure you would. Neither was I. She looks at him, really looks, like she's cataloging changes. You look different. So do you. I cut my hair. I noticed. The conversation is a structure they're both building carefully. Each sentence placed with precision. Do you want to? She gestures vaguely toward the less crowded side of the gallery. He follows. They stop near a window overlooking the street. She holds her wine glass with both hands. Thank you for coming, she says. Okay. I know I said I'd stop if you didn't show up. I meant it. He nods. She stops. Starts again. I've spent the last 2 months trying to understand what happened. What I did. What you did. Evan waits. I asked for something impossible, she says. I see that now. I asked you to wait while I decided if you were enough. That's humiliating to say out loud. You said it at the time. I know. But I didn't hear it the way you must have heard it. A couple moves past them, examining a nearby painting. Lena waits until they're out of earshot. I thought I was being responsible, she continues. Making sure. Not rushing into something permanent without being certain. She looks at him. But I was already certain. I was just scared of being certain. Okay. I went on dates, she says. 3 of them. They were nothing. Not bad, just nothing. I kept comparing them to you. To us. And then I realized I didn't need to compare. I already knew. Evan takes a sip of wine. It's too sweet. I'm not telling you this to make you feel sorry for me, she says. Or to make you feel like you won. I'm telling you because I want you to know I understand now. What I had. What I threw away. You didn't throw it away, Evan says. You asked to put it on pause. Those are different things. And you said no. I didn't say anything. She flinches. You left. Yes. Without talking to me. There wasn't anything to talk about. There was everything to talk about. He shakes his head. You'd already made your decision. I made mine. But you didn't tell me what it was. I didn't need to. She sets her wine glass on a nearby ledge. Her hands shake slightly. That's not fair. Maybe not. I deserved a conversation. You asked for space to decide if I was enough. I gave you permanent space and decided you weren't. The words land without heat. Factual. Final. Lena's face changes, something crumbles behind her eyes. That's cruel. It's honest. I said I was wrong. I said I understand now. I'm apologizing. I know. And it doesn't matter? Evan looks out the window. A taxi idles at the curb. Someone's getting out, someone else getting in. The transaction is efficient. It matters, he says. Just not enough. Not enough for what? To change anything. She's quiet for a long time. When she speaks again, her voice is smaller. I still love you. Okay. Doesn't that mean anything? He turns back to her. Looks at her directly. It means you still love me. That's it. That's it. She wraps her arms around herself. So there's nothing I can say. No. Nothing I can do. No. You've just decided. Yes. When? When did you decide? He considers. The night you asked. But you didn't say anything. You acted like we'd talk about it. You wanted to talk. I didn't stop you. She stops. Breathes. That's not the same as deciding. It was for me. Another silence. Someone in the gallery laughs. The sound is bright and disconnected from where they're standing. I don't understand, Lena says. If you decided that night, why are you here now? You asked me to come. That's the only reason? Yes. She looks at him like he's become unfamiliar. You're different. Not really. You are. You're cold. I'm the same. You're just seeing it now. She shakes her head. The Evan I knew would have fought. Or at least talked. You're just done. Like I don't even register anymore. I'm not angry, he says. If that's what you mean. Then what are you? Certain. The word sits between them. She stares at him. Certain, she repeats. Yes. About what? That this, he gestures between them, doesn't work. Because of one mistake. Because you asked me to be optional. I didn't mean it like that. But that's what it was. She picks up her wine glass. Sets it down again. Her eyes are wet but no tears fall. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. Yes, I do. I have to, there has to be something. There isn't. She laughs, sharp and bitter. So that's it. You show up, tell me it's over, and leave. You asked me to come. I asked you to talk. We're talking. This isn't talking. This is you delivering a verdict. Okay. She looks away. Out the window. At the painting. Anywhere but at him. When she speaks again, her voice is unsteady. I loved you. I still love you. That has to count for something. It does. What? It means it mattered. Past tense. She closes her eyes. Opens them. I can't believe this is how it ends. It ended in April. Not for me. I know. They stand in silence. The gallery continues around them. People move between paintings, talk in low voices, sip wine. Life proceeding. I should go, Evan says. Lena nods. Doesn't look at him. Thank you for coming. Sure. He starts to turn. She speaks again. Evan? He stops. I hope, she falters. I hope you find whatever it is you're looking for. I'm not looking for anything. That's worse, she says quietly. He doesn't respond. Walks toward the exit. Behind him, he hears her say something else, too quiet to catch. He doesn't turn around. Outside, the air is cooler than before. He walks to his car. Gets in. Sits for a moment with his hands on the wheel. His phone buzzes. A text from Claire. How did it go? He doesn't answer. Starts the car. Drives back to the studio. Inside, he sets his keys on the counter. The letter is still there, unopened. The plant has pushed out another new leaf. He makes tea. Sits on the floor. The room is quiet. He doesn't feel victorious. He doesn't feel relieved. He feels exactly the same as he did this morning and the morning before that. The quiet holds. Day 72. Evan wakes to 3 missed calls. All from Lena. No voicemails. He runs. Showers. Makes coffee. His phone rings again at 7:30. He answers. I need to understand, she says. No greeting. Understand what? Why it's so final for you. Why there's no room. Evan sets his coffee down. We talked about this yesterday. No, you talked. You told me it was over. But you didn't explain why it has to be. I did explain. You said I asked you to be optional. But people make mistakes. People ask for things they don't mean. That doesn't have to end everything. He's quiet. Outside, a bus hisses to a stop. Are you there? She asks. I'm here. Then say something. What do you want me to say? I want you to tell me why my apologizing doesn't matter. Why my realizing I was wrong doesn't change anything. I want to understand how you can just turn it off. I didn't turn anything off. Then what did you do? He walks to the window. The brick wall is the same. I accepted what you told me. I told you I made a mistake. Before that, you told me you needed to know if I was enough. That's not a mistake. That's how you felt. It was fear. Okay. Fear isn't permanent. No. But the question is. Silence on the line. He can hear her breathing, measured and controlled. I don't understand what that means, she says. It means you asked the question. I heard it. And once it's asked, it doesn't go away. But I answered it. I know now that you're enough. That we were enough. You know now. After testing it. Yes. That's the difference. What difference? He leans his forehead against the glass. The coolness helps him organize the words. You needed proof. I didn't. That's not, she stops. Starts again. I wasn't testing you. I was testing myself. Whether I could commit without wondering. And you had to wonder first. Yes. Is that so wrong? No. But it's conditional. What is? How you love. The words sit. He hears her inhale sharply. That's not fair, she says. It's accurate. You're saying I didn't love you the right way. I'm saying we love differently. How? He pushes off the window. Walks to the counter. The letter is still there, sealed. You need to be sure before you commit. I commit, and then I'm sure. That doesn't make sense. It makes sense. It's just incompatible. So because I needed time to be certain, you decided we were incompatible? Yes. That's insane. Maybe. She makes a sound, frustration or disbelief. Evan, everyone has doubts. Everyone questions things. That's normal. I know. Then why are you punishing me for being normal? I'm not punishing you. Yes, you are. You're ending something good because I admitted I was scared. You didn't just admit you were scared. You asked me to wait while you explored whether someone else was better. I never said someone else. You said, what else is out there? That's the same thing. It's not. Lena. He says her name quietly. You asked for permission to see if you could do better. I'm not angry about it. But I'm also not going to wait around to find out if I passed the test. It wasn't a test. It was exactly a test. Another silence. Longer this time. When she speaks again, her voice is different. Steadier. So that's it. I asked the wrong question and now we're done forever. Yes. That's not how relationships work. It's how mine works. That's not fair to me. It doesn't have to be. She laughs, sharp and humorless. You're really not going to give me any room here. No. Why not? Because I don't want to be chosen twice. The words come out before he can soften them. They land hard. He hears her breath catch. What does that mean? She asks, though her voice suggests she already knows. It means when you choose someone, you choose them. You don't choose them, test the market, and then choose them again. That's not choosing. That's settling. I'm not settling. I love you. You love me now. After confirming there wasn't something better. That's a horrible thing to say. It's what happened. No. What happened is I got scared and asked for space to think. And instead of talking to me about it, you disappeared and decided I wasn't worth fighting for. You asked me not to fight. You asked for space. I asked for time to think. Not for you to leave forever. I gave you time. And space. Permanently. Without telling me that's what you were doing. You would have talked me out of it. She's quiet. Then, you're right. I would have. I know. So you just snuck out. Cancelled everything. Cut me off. Yes. That's cruel, Evan. Maybe. But staying would have been worse. Worse how? Worse for me. She doesn't respond. He hears something in the background, a door closing, maybe. Traffic. Where are you? He asks. In my car. Outside your building. He walks back to the window. Looks down. Her car is parked in the same spot as before. He can see her silhouette in the driver's seat, phone to her ear. Why? He asks. Because I thought if I came here, you'd have to listen. I am listening. Then hear me. Please. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I want to fix it. Tell me how to fix it. You can't. There has to be a way. There isn't. Why not? He watches her through the window. She's looking up now, scanning the building. He steps back from the glass. Because I don't want to, he says. You don't want to fix it, or you don't want me? Both. The word hangs. He hears her crying now, quiet, controlled, but unmistakable. I don't believe you, she says. That's okay. You loved me. I know you did. I did. Then you can again. No. Why not? Because I don't trust it anymore. Trust what? The way you love. With conditions. With escape routes. That's not, her voice breaks. That's not fair. I'm not trying to be fair. I'm trying to be honest. She's quiet for a long time. He hears her breathing even out, steadying herself. Okay, she says finally. Okay, I hear you. Okay, I'm going to go now. All right. I won't call again. All right. I mean it. I believe you. Another pause. Then, I really did love you. I do love you. I know. I hope someday you believe that. Maybe. Goodbye, Evan. Goodbye. The call ends. He stays at the window. Watches her car. She sits there for another 3 minutes. Then the headlights come on. She pulls out. Drives away. He stands there after she's gone. The street empties. A taxi passes. A cyclist. Someone walking a dog. He picks up the letter. Holds it. Doesn't open it. Carries it to the trash. Pauses with his hand over the bin. Sets it back on the counter. His phone buzzes. Claire. Lena called me. She's really upset. What happened? He types. We talked. It's over. Are you okay? Yes. Do you want to talk about it? No. Okay. I'm here if you change your mind. He doesn't respond. The studio is quiet. He makes more coffee even though he doesn't need it. Stands at the counter drinking it, watching the light change on the brick wall. He doesn't feel relieved. He doesn't feel guilty. He feels like something that was unfinished is now finished. Not resolved, just complete. The plant sits on the windowsill, green and persistent. Outside, the city continues. It doesn't require his participation. It doesn't ask him to explain. He rinses his cup. Sets it in the rack. Sits on the floor with his back to the wall. The quiet holds. Day 83. The promotion comes through. Evan's boss calls him into the office, shakes his hand, outlines the new responsibilities. The salary adjustment is more than expected. Evan thanks him. Signs the paperwork. That night, he orders takeout from a place he hasn't tried before. Vietnamese. The pho is good. He eats it at the counter, standing, scrolling through news he won't remember. Day 90. Claire texts. Dinner this weekend? Sure. How's Saturday? Works. Saturday, he shows up at 6 with wine again. Different bottle. Same effort. Claire opens the door and steps aside. You're consistent, she says. Is that good or bad? Neither. Just true. Over dinner, roasted chicken, vegetables he helps her chop. She asks about work. He tells her about the promotion. She congratulates him. Asks if he's celebrating. He says this is it. This is celebrating, she asks, gesturing at her dining room table. Close enough. She lets it sit. Later, while washing dishes, she asks if he's heard from Lena. No. She moved, Claire says. Back home. Connecticut. Okay. Thought you should know. He nods. Dries a plate. Sets it in the cabinet. How do you feel about that? Claire asks. I don't. She looks at him. Really? Really? She doesn't push. They finish the dishes. Watch half a movie. He leaves at 10:30. Day 97. The plant outgrows its pot. Evan notices while making coffee roots visible through the drainage hole. He buys a larger pot at a hardware store on his lunch break. Repots it that evening. Watches a tutorial on his phone to make sure he does it right. The plant adjusts. Keeps growing. Day 104. He runs the river path like always. 6 a.m. 3 miles out, 3 miles back. A woman passes him going the opposite direction. She nods. He nods back. The exchange is efficient. At the turnaround point, he stops. Not to rest, to look. The water is gray under the overcast sky. A barge moves slowly downstream. Someone is fishing from the bank, their line barely visible. He stands there for 30 seconds. Then turns around and runs back. Day 112. A mutual friend, someone from college he hasn't thought about in months, gets engaged. The announcement appears on social media. Evan scrolls past it. Keeps scrolling. Closes the app. Day 119. His lease is up for renewal. The landlord emails. Evan responds within an hour. Signs for another 6 months. Work stabilizes into new patterns. The promotion brings more meetings, more decisions. He presents to clients. Mentors junior staff. His boss mentions his name in leadership discussions. Evan nods and opens the next file. Day 126. He cooks pasta. Uses a recipe he found online, follows it exactly. The result is competent. He eats half, saves the rest. Eats the leftovers for lunch the next day. Day 133. Claire texts. Mom's birthday dinner next week. You coming? Yes. She's excited to see you. Tell her I'll be there. The dinner is on day 140. Extended family. Questions about work. Questions about dating. He answers the first category. Deflects the second. His aunt mentions someone she knows. Evan says he's not interested. She doesn't push. His mother corners him in the kitchen while he's refilling his water glass. You look good, she says. Thanks. Thinner. But good. I've been running. She studies him. Are you happy? I'm fine. That's not what I asked. He considers. I'm not unhappy. She frowns. Evan. Mom. He says it gently. I'm fine. Really. She doesn't look convinced. But she drops it. Day 147. The coffee shop barista asks if he's ever tried their cold brew. He says no. She makes him one. He tries it. It's too acidic. He goes back to his regular order the next day. Not a fan, she asks. I like what I like. She smiles. Fair enough. Day 153. An email arrives from the venue coordinator. Subject, hope you're well. Hi Evan, I hope this doesn't come across as intrusive, but I wanted to check in. We've had a last-minute cancellation for a smaller date in September. No pressure at all, but if circumstances have changed, the space is available. Either way, wishing you the best. David. Evan reads it twice. Deletes it. Day 160. The studio stops feeling temporary and starts feeling default. Not home, just the place where he is. The distinction matters in ways he doesn't examine. Day 167. He runs the river path. Same route. Same time. The woman who nods passes him again. This time she says good morning. He says it back. The exchange expands by 2 words. Still efficient. Day 174. His sister calls. Just checking in, Claire says. I'm fine. I know. Just checking anyway. Okay. They talk for 17 minutes. Work. Family. The news. Nothing significant. The conversation is comfortable. You sound better, she says before hanging up. Better than what? Than you did. When? April. He thinks about that. Maybe. Not maybe. You do. Okay. Okay, she echoes. Love you. Love you too. Day 182. 6 months since the walk. Evan notices the date while filling out a form at work. He pauses. Not because it hurts, because it doesn't. The number is just a number. The date is just a date. He finishes the form. Day 190. The letter is still on the counter. He hasn't opened it. Hasn't thrown it away. It sits there, becoming part of the landscape. The plant. The coffee maker. The letter. Objects without urgency. Day 197. He buys new running shoes. The old ones have worn through at the heel. At the store, the salesperson asks about his running routine. He describes it. She recommends a model. He buys them. Runs in them the next morning. They fit well enough. Day 203. Work sends him to a conference. 2 days in Baltimore. He goes. Sits through panels. Networks during breaks. Returns home on day 205. The studio is exactly as he left it. Day 211. He's loading groceries into his car when he sees someone who looks like Lena. Same height. Same hair color. Different face. The woman walks past him without noticing. He puts the groceries in the trunk. Drives home. Day 218. The plant has doubled in size. He rotates it so the growth stays even. Waters it. Sets it back on the windowsill. Day 224. Claire texts. "Want to come over and watch the game?" "Sure." He goes. They watch the game. He doesn't care about the outcome. Neither does she. They order pizza. Talk during commercials. He leaves at 11. Day 230. He wakes at 6:30. Runs. Showers. Makes coffee. The routine is frictionless now. Automatic. At work, his boss mentions a project starting in the new year. Leadership role. High visibility. Evan says he's interested. Lunch is a sandwich from the deli on 4th. He eats it at his desk while answering emails. The afternoon passes. He works through a spreadsheet. Attends a meeting. Responds to messages. At 6, he closes his laptop. Drives home. The traffic is moderate. Inside the studio, he makes dinner. Pasta again. A different sauce this time. He eats it standing at the counter. His phone is on the counter. No new messages. He checks the news. Scrolls. Sets it down. The evening stretches. He reads an article about something he forgets immediately. Considers watching something. Doesn't. Sits on the floor with his back to the wall. The room is quiet. Not empty quiet. There's a difference. Outside, the city continues. Cars. Voices. Someone's music playing faintly through walls. Life happening in parallel. The plant sits on the windowsill, backlit by the street lamp. New growth visible even in the dim light. Evan breathes. In and out. The air in the studio is neither warm nor cool. Just present. He doesn't think about the past. He doesn't plan the future. He exists in the specific geometry of this moment, this room, this light, this quiet. Tomorrow he'll wake at 6:30. Run. Shower. Make coffee. Go to work. Come home. The routine will repeat because that's what routines do. He's not healed. He's not whole. He's not triumphant. He's just here. Continuing. The brick wall outside shows nothing. The street lamp illuminates it anyway. Evan stands. Brushes his teeth. Goes to bed. The ceiling is unmarked. Familiar. He closes his eyes. The quiet holds.